Hello, everyone, and this is Alpha 12. And if you've seen the first part of this reaction, then you know what to expect. We are checking out DPS's album Mission Impossible, which is so far been a really fun treat. Now, granted, many of these songs I've already reacted to. I just learned that Walk 'Em Down here is one that I reacted to previously. That was the beginning part of the Maki rap from Jujutsu Kaisen. I didn't realize that when I was starting to record this until I heard the beat, and I'm like, this sounds familiar. Why do I not like place this? Why do I feel like I've heard this? So what I've done is I've created a playlist with all of the videos that have been featured previously. Everything that has a check mark is something that I've heard before. I have created a playlist for all of those songs. And then the Maki rap is going to be between the actual first reaction video for this and the reaction video that you're currently watching in the playlist. This will be the end of it. I am going to get through Stuck in the Middle, Mama I Made It, Scared, and Another Thing today in this video. Link to the album on Spotify will be in the description below if you want to listen to it without my commentary, because we will be pausing. I will be talking about it. I had to correct that in the first video. I think I made it pretty clear this time. Without further ado, let's get to Stuck in the Middle, because I'm kind of curious how the rest of this album is, and most of the songs after Stuck in the Middle are going to be really short, so this shouldn't take too long. Ooh. Ooh. Hold on. This is giving me some synthy vibes to it. This is giving me some like very heavy emotional resonance. The first thing that comes to mind is the Killua song that DPS and Fable did together, which was very synthwavy, very 80s synthwavy. It's not exactly the same as that though. This definitely has a little bit more of like an ambiance sort of tone to it, whereas the Killua song definitely was designed to be pure synthwave. But I feel the emotion. I feel like the presence of the type of song that DPS is aiming for here. And this one here, of all the songs that we've heard so far in the album, might actually be my favorite, just from the vibe of it. Now, granted, there are some really good ones. Like, I listen to Work almost daily, and Walk 'Em Down is one of my favorite JJK songs. And Imposters is that's the one that he went thermonuclear on somebody. There is nothing left of that person. Like, there's not even ash. He didn't just char this person, he disintegrated them. But Stuck in the Middle is kind of the vibe that I like listening to generally. Like, if I've just got something on in the background, the way that this song sounds is what I would normally have on in the background. Just, it's a relaxing, like, it's a relaxing song that, with the way that its instrumental is crafted, and like, it helps me focus on things. And so this is kind of a song that I could see myself just casually listening to when I'm like writing, or if I decide to draw, which is very rare, but every once in a while I get that that notion. Or if I'm editing videos or something, this is the kind of song that I listen to help me focus, almost like lo-fi. It just feels really good. I don't know how else to describe it. It just feels really good to hear. People change. Do we stay the same? I'm just asking for a friend. I ain't seen him in a minute, getting further from the man in the mirror. You know what also reminds me of? I'm gonna rewind it a little bit. Um, it also kind of reminds me of the ambient sound that Adult Swim uses for their interludes and whatnot between commercial breaks over on Cartoon Network. That's kind of another thing that it like I don't know what it is about it, but like that heavy synthy bass going on in the background, just it reminds me of Adult Swim a little bit. It's like a synthwave organ or something.
Looking for the answers, but running from my past, all the fingers pointing back, saying you to blame. Oh, I've been so stuck in the middle. Just a little left, I can get a breath. Oh, I've been so lost in the signal. I've been in the red, in the middle. And he told me I should settle. I can be the one to shepherd. I can reach another level. I'm not fit to be a vessel, so he tried to keep me busy. Told me freedom in the pencil. Don't you dare come off ahead. No, I don't want to see your head up. No, I can give you what you're feeling for. I can give you what you're feeling.
Oh my god. Okay, I am losing myself in this. This like that tone in the background is doing so much for my excessively noisy mind. My ADHD brain is like completely transfixed by listening to that song. Listening to that instrumental. I could use the instrumental just by itself as something to help drown out my own thoughts. Because as being someone who has autism and ADHD, there are a lot of thoughts going on in my brain at any given time. So like this feels nice. This feels good. This feels powerful in trying to control those out of control thoughts. I thoroughly am engrossed with how this has been presented, how this has been produced. I love that background. Like I love listening to DPS's voice as well. What he's saying, unfortunately though, is kind of getting lost in the sensation of me just wanting to exist in the instrumental. I like, but I will say that like even though some of it is kind of slipping my mind, I do have to agree with some of the things that he's talking about with like feeling stuck in the middle, feeling like not able to progress, feeling like you've gotten to a point where like you can't really move one way or another. I can relate to that. I can definitely relate to that. So I do believe that the message is still coming across, even if specific parts of the message are getting lost because I am so in love with what I'm hearing with that bass.
I've been afraid of the changes in me. Look in the mirror, ashamed do I see, but I feel it's too late to retreat. So lost. Steady saying I should hold on. This is what you wanted, right? Will show off. I got you on the roll call. You think you got me pegged? Well, hold on. This is not my story, it's the prologue.
That section right there about like looking in the mirror and being ashamed of what you see, but you're too far. You've gone too far to backtrack. For whatever reason, the first thing that came to mind is John Wick. Like that entire section right there, the first thing that came to mind is this could easily be a very powerful emotional song for John Wick. I don't know why, I can't even begin to explain it, but that's the first thing that came to mind.
I was so stuck in the middle. I don't need a rest. I got a second wind. Oh, I was so lost in the center. And now I see the man in the mirror.
The other thing about that song that I fell in love with almost immediately is the fact that if you've seen my recent playthrough of Mass Effect 1 and you saw the final episode of Mass Effect 1 where I had to cut N4 Part 2 off, which is the end credit song. I love M4 Part 2, okay? That is one of my favorite, like, I'm starting to get teary-eyed because it made me cry the first time I heard it, and the second time, and the third time when I played Mass Effect 1. But, way back when. But M4 Part 2 brings an emotion in me. It brings this sense of conclusion for an epic journey. It brings this sense, this vibe of you've just made it. Like we've come to the end. And there's a lot about that song that just feels like a special kind of important, at least to me. Not the least of which being the droning melody that it has, because it is definitely a very it like this song, it quiets my mind. It is a calming song that has a decent amount of like energy to it, but not enough energy to get me hyped up. It is a song that's designed to bring you down. And most of the Mass Effect songs that were created for all of the games kind of are designed around M4 Part 2, right? Like they chose that song specifically because it fit the vibe of the game, but most of the music I think was crafted to fit the vibe of M4 Part 2. I could be wrong about that. Maybe the soundtrack was created first and M4 Part 2 just happens to fit the vibe, but like it fits so perfectly. I wouldn't have blamed them for being like, this is going to be the end of this first game. Let's create the entire trilogy's like soundtrack around that song. So like the way that that song makes me feel is the way that this song makes me feel. Maybe to a little bit of a lesser extent with Stuck in the Middle, but I still get the overwhelming sense of conclusion, the overwhelming sense of progression and finality, the overwhelming sense of like I have come to the end of this part of my journey. And I feel like that's kind of the thing that DPS was going for. Like, this is the end of this chapter. I am now moving forward with the next one. And if so, I feel like he captured that very well. Like, he was talking about how he was stuck in the middle, how he didn't feel like he could progress. But I feel like by stating that out loud, he's able to progress. And maybe that's the reason why some of the songs afterwards, you know, Battle Beast especially, Bored AF especially, and 10,000 Hours, maybe that's the reason why those songs were chosen immediately afterwards, because they show a progression past where DPS was previously. They show a progression past where DPS was even a year ago. So I feel like the choice of those songs being immediately after Stuck in the Middle is not random. But I've already reacted to all three of those songs. So I'm jumping straight to Mama, I Made It. And we're going to see what he has to say, because this one sounds, again, like a very personal song. The name Mama, I Made It sounds like, you know, obviously he's talking to his mom. This sounds like he's talking about how far he's come, which would be a good follow to Stuck in the Middle.
Hey, mama, I made it. Hey, everybody waiting on the day they say it. Number one fan when a man get paid. First call I'ma make when I get that paycheck. Mama, I made it. Hey, all that work, hit the pound that payment. I was underground, now I'm out that basement. I got that placement, we on that way shit. Mama, I made it. Been the underdog since birth. I ain't never called out first. So I took their plan and I did 3 times the amount, but they call that work. Big belt, no a dog been hungry. Pit bull first. Pit bull when I walk out church. Then a man tough talk, better call that hearse.
So, okay, so the DPS has crafted a song that is success. This is triumph. Like I said, this is a good way of progressing past Stuck in the Middle. If you've heard the 3 songs that came before this one, like those are powerful, energetic songs. And now you've got this one that almost feels like, going back to the John Cena reference that I made when I was listening to Voicemail. This feels like My Time Is Now. This feels like DPS's like version of My Time Is Now. John Cena's theme song. That's the vibe I'm getting from this. Like, but maybe it's the horns, but I think it's more the energy, more the vibe. Like, this is, I've done it. Like, I've done it. I am here. My time is now. I'm calling my mama to celebrate my success, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here. That's what this is feeling like.
Talk, but he fall out first. Line them all up, I need all that curb. Been hating instead of doing one by one. Might turn a one shot to an all-out burst. Feeling like a dawn, a problem, Long Beach red. Really might have spawned in Gotham. Said I was a dog with the heart of ox, and learn to pull big weight when you got no options. Hey, now I'm in a black tuxedo. Eyes follow everywhere that we go, and we know it. They were shitting on us, that we gonna speak on it. We sold everything to be on, but we own it. We own it. Think about the now, I'm thinking beyond it. I couldn't see my own size, had the knee on it. Said you going for gold, but that's cold. First running there, give me my phone, bitch. Mama, I made it. Everybody waiting on the day they say it. Number one fan when a man get paid. First call I'ma make when I get that paycheck. Mama, I made it. Hey, all that work had to pound that pavement. I was underground, now I'm out that basement. I got that placement. We on that weight shit. Mama, I made it.
Oh, that's such a good song. I wish it was longer, but that was a good song. I do find it very interesting. The very next song is Scared. So it makes me wonder, like, what the continuation is from that. Like, it starts, or it ends with him saying, Mama, and then it just cuts out. So I'm wondering if Scared is like a continuation of Mama, I Made It. Because if so, there's a story going on here. And I feel like most of these songs are telling a story to some extent, but and if you listen to the entire album from beginning to end, you probably get the story. Obviously, we're skipping because we've heard some of these songs. And I'm trying not to, waste your time by listening to music that we've already heard. But I'm wondering if like these songs were chosen not just because of a performance aspect, like these are the songs that like are best suited to be on this album, but also because these songs tell a story. I don't know. I'd have to go and listen to all these songs in order to figure that out.
I finally did it. I guess they would call me an entrepreneur. They told me it's winning. Congratulations, you ain't followed the herd. I'm finally living. Empty room with a body of work. They tell me I'm on top of the world. Well, the top of the world is quiet. It's deafening hearing the silence. Lock the doors and I'm in the asylum. Studio soundproof, so when I'm stressed, well, they can't be crying. Look at my son's eyes and I smile back so he can't see me frightened. Head down, so an egg has, so you scared of the future, they can't see me lying. You ever wanted something so bad, but you're already scared of it dying? You're already scared you could fail, so you don't want to face the failure of trying. Cause nobody wanna go down embarrassed, so you tell yourself that it's the time. As soon as I get it all lined up, you go eyes wide till the failure is blinding.
Ooh.
Feel like the walls are caving in. Feel like I'm lost, the game is rigged.
Ooh.
It's pay to win. I just wanna move off in the waiting list. Listen to it, no pause to sales pitch it. If you hate it, then off me, make it quick. All of those lonely nights on the road. All of those no replies when I wrote. If you made it to open mic, you would know. Bury this social life for the goals. Tell me my TikTok could be better. I'm putting my fist right through the door. Bitch, I'm a guy.
Okay. Oh man, okay. I'm not gonna lie right now. I need a longer version of Scared. Okay, I see. There's the thing that after I was thinking about this, after hearing Walk 'Em Down, and realizing that that's just the first half of the Maki rap. I'm wondering if all these smaller pieces are actually just beginning stages of other songs that are going to pop up in the future. I'm wondering if we're going to get a song called Scared in the future that's going to feature the first half of this. And then the second half is brand new. And it probably like more related to an anime character. I'm wondering if Mama I Made It is going to appear again in another song, because like these feel like they could potentially be fully crafted songs, right? Like they feel very, very, very powerful and important. And I see them being specific enough to DPS, but generic enough to be associated with something like an anime character, that he could easily extend these into full-length songs for a character. Doesn't necessarily have to stay at 1 minute and 45 seconds or 1 minute and 49 seconds. You know, they don't have to stay like that. There's potential there to extend it, just like the Maki rap. So I'm wondering now if Walk 'Em Down is sort of like an indicator that some of these songs are going to pop up in the future as full-length songs, or perhaps they already have and I just haven't heard them yet. I'm very curious about that, because there's like I said, there's potential. There's a lot of potential for a lot of these shorter songs to be crafted into something bigger. And you know me, I like a song 3 minutes or longer. Like if it's under 3 minutes, it better be a powerful under 3 minutes.
Listen, sometimes you just gotta get a couple things off your chest, you know? And this is one of those times.
Oh boy.
I didn't feel like saying it. I had to put it in the song.
Oh boy.
Enjoy. Fuck your disrespect, bitch. I'm on your neck, won't let you get a breath. You 30, bitch. Maybe if I diss you, it'll disinfect your magic with it. Only time I miss is if I misdirect. I'll pull your card, pull up on you jokers, watch him hit that deck. Your music ass, put you on the speaker just to skip ahead. You seeing crimson angry, ain't you? Now you see an infrared, it hurts your heart. They got me posted, nigga. Looking picturesque. The fucking best. You lucky I've been sticking to the internet.
This feels like an extension of Imposters. This feels like there's more to say. Like if you've heard Imposters, which is in this playlist, you know that DPS went scorched earth. He went thermonuclear on somebody. That song may have been the single worst experience for someone to listen to if it was targeted at them ever. Like that was the roast upon roasts. There are very few songs out there that could be considered a diss track that were more damaging than Imposters, with maybe Not Like Us being the only other one that I could think of. And that one comes off as kind of like an outlier because of the fact that it wasn't done specifically out of anger. It was done out of like in my opinion, a need to set the record straight and also to tear someone down who doesn't deserve to be up that high. So, like Imposters was one of the most brutal experiences that I think someone who's had a diss track made of them could have ever had. And another thing sounds like an extension of this. There's more to say. And it just brings me back to what I was saying in the Imposters reaction. What was this targeted for? Who was this targeted towards? Because there's not much left and DPS just stomping on what remains. If this is the same person or the same group of people, like I don't know how much more they can take. TikTok trying to tell me if this popping a nine, I'm a piss on them. I'm pissed at the mob lost in the plot, and I get some of this shit, but I promise, honest to God, that if this not on your list, then you're stupid. You probably poured the milk before the cereal, stupid. You thought that China was venereal, stupid. You probably thought that Star Wars 1, 2, and 3 are better than the original trilogy. I can't do this. You think you're King of the Hill? Well, I mean, I'm not going to say Star Wars 1 or 2, but I feel like personally 3 is better than most of the original trilogy. But this is coming from someone who has the controversial opinion that because of the fact that it feels like a standalone film and doesn't fit the vibe of the rest of the Star Wars movies without Rogue One tying it in, Star Wars A New Hope is the worst Star Wars movie. So, I suppose I'm not really one to talk in this particular situation. Oops.
I'll leave you in a pile with the derelicts, frozen no remembrance. Here lies all of them dumb bitches thinking they can go eradicate the terrorists. I'm too cold, I'm Pluto, and I'm too bold, and a truth told. You bitches copy and paste your suit knowing this new cloud and all of these new clothes ain't shit when you fold. The best that's never been discovered, bitch, I am a Martian. It's arson every time I put the carbon to the parchment. Swinging on you niggas, headlock, feel like Tarzan. I'm Barbie, cause every rap flow is in my walking. If X Plug is the biggest, then I'm Colossus. A juggernaut, unstoppable force, I'm so constant.
Some X-Men raps, X-Men bars.
When I cross them, they say that they want it, then go past them. It's awesome. And all the bitches that said that I wouldn't make it, you know who the fuck you are when you playing this. Fuck your government, your alias, and fuck all them giant spider Australians. Don't know what God was thinking when he made them shits. It's crazy, bitch. They don't want to hear not one noun of verb for you niggas. And I ain't like that, but I meant it, bitch. I'm purging the filler. You heard it first, and this the first of the first. But we can verse for the verse, you feel me?
Okay, first things first, I want DPS. I need. Oh, hold on. We already heard Utah. I need DPS to do a Juggernaut rap. He's done X-Men raps in the 4. He's done, like, what was it, Cyclops, and he's done Wolverine. I think he's done Wolverine. I don't remember, but I need him. I need him to do a Juggernaut rap. Like, that just has to happen. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, no, I don't know how much more whoever that was targeted towards could take, because he's done so much. He's damaged so much. There's virtually nothing left. My goodness gracious. Okay. Yeah, no, the only thing I could say about what we just heard is that DPS, like in that last song, has no more F's to give when it comes to that. When it comes to whatever he's talking about, he's done. He's done. He's putting an exclamation point on this. I'm wondering if, because the story was that, like, you know, Internet City stole the final track, the missing track. I'm wondering if, and another thing, it was the missing track. I'm not sure, because I didn't check up on this when it was still in pre-release before you know, when you could pre-order it. But I'm wondering if and another thing was the extra missing song, because if so, that makes so much sense. Anyway, that's gonna be it for me. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you all for suggesting that I actually do the reaction to this, because I really wasn't going to, because I didn't think there was a lot of people who were interested. But I do appreciate all the ones that did step up and say, hey, where's the DPS Mission Impossible reaction? Here you go. I am Mark Alpha 12. I'm going to wrap this up here, and I will see you in the next video.